Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. Back out here in the garage working on the MTR project, and I know this might look a little ridiculous, and well, in fact, I know it kind of does look a little ridiculous. However, it's a lot better than running around patting yourself to extinguish a fire that has become my previous hoodie. And I really don't want to turn every one of my hoodies into a casualty, so I figured while I was at Harbor Freight yesterday, I'd pick up a quick solution, you know, inexpensive. I actually did pick up a Hobart jacket for welding, and we're going to see how that works, but that's going to be on an evening when I'm going to be likely to be doing some welding. So this is more or less to keep myself from lighting myself up with the grinder here. So still continuing on with the pusher plate. I just got back from Tractor Supply and I picked up all the correct bolts to hold this all together. Now I'm putting these 4 on right now because the tack welds that I used to hold all these pieces together for the drilling process, I want to be able to remove those tack welds now. Still at the same time, I want to take the cutoff wheel, obviously, to get these tacks to go away, but then I'm going to put the big flat disc on it. I'm going to try to clean up these edges a little bit. Not going to go too crazy. I'm not trying to really flush up the main plate with the shim and the retainers. I just want to clean this up, only to get rid of any oil from the drilling process. I'm going to be cleaning all that stuff down to get building the pusher plate itself and the webs. Likely I'll be getting to that part tomorrow, but we're just going to be doing some prep right now. So I'm sure you could hear Bo barking because he doesn't realize that I'm out here working. But let's get to it, and we'll move forward. Alright, so the next thing I want to do before I remove these bolts here, I want to be sure, looking at this, pretty clean. Not sure how much justice I'm going to do with the flap wheel. So what I'm going to do is I need to make indication marks so that the shim and the retainers, they go to their correct side, because like I said, there is no precision drilling here, okay? So instead of flipping them over and switching them back and forth to find out which one really goes where, I'm going to put some markings here to ensure that they go to the same spot. I should probably take that off before that ends up a casualty. That would not surprise me. Okay. So that's 1.
2. So basically I'm just going to match them up with the punches. I got 2 on that one, because those are singles, so on and so forth. So, just trying to make this make some make sure that these are very obvious. Those are all identified. Identified. See what I did there?
All right, so I'm gonna use some acetone here. I put the cap on, I just had it off a second ago. Don't have a lot of this left. If I knew I was that low, I probably would have got more. This is just kind of a preliminary cleaning. Again, these parts still have mill scale and stuff like that on them, so they still have a ways to go before paint prep. Oops. Is it coming apart? It certainly is. All right, cool. Bunch more schmutz in here, which again, I'm not surprised. I guess I was kind of premature cleaning that stuff off, but. A little tight. Okay, so we've got some fitting to do. Woo. A huge bang. So we've got some fitting to do. Still might have to do some shimmy here. But this is why we're going through all this. To find these things out, no? Let's see if we can find something in the old junk drawer in the toolbox to get us where we need to be. Good afternoon, everybody. Back here on the MTR project once again. And so I left off yesterday. I needed to go make an errand to Tractor Supply real quick to go and get me some washers to see if we can get the tolerances a little bit more lenient on the retainer plate. So we're gonna put these in place. I'll probably wind up, after we get them all bolted in, I'll just take the cutoff wheel and just cut off the excess. So whether that's going to be my permanent solution or not, I figured it was the least expensive for now. So that's the direction we're going to go. So before I get to yammering too much, let's get this moving along as far as this. Once I know that I can get that thing mounted to the H-beam and moving, then we can continue on to the next one. Looking pretty good. I think I've got room for paint. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So let's see, markings out. This is going to be a little tricky. This is really kind of, why I was saying I'm not 100% sure. I mean, you know how things go when you DIY it a lot of times on a rural property setting is everything's permanently temporary until it's time to make a change. And it's probably how this is gonna go. Of course, then again, I'm gonna have to take this apart, put it back together a few times. So odds are I'll probably get frustrated with this, and I'll just commit to getting some strap steel to actually do this the way I would prefer it to be done. Come on. Ooh. I think I have this upside down and backwards, folks. Remember what I was saying about precision drilling. There will be none of that nonsense here. Let's see, I got 4 there. Yep, 4 there. I should have looked at those markings that I put on there. Don't even really have to look at them because it's almost like Braille. You could feel how many marks are there because of those dimples. Okay. All right, let's try this again. I'm sure I'll goof something up. on, baby. Gonna get my clamp here to hold this steady for me while I go get the nuts. And the washers and a whole bunch of stuff. So, for some redneck engineering, definitely happy with how this is coming out. This is pretty cool. That being said, because it is redneck engineering, maybe hillbilly. Heck, I can't even complete a sentence for God's sakes. But take that off so I'm not reaching around that clamp. So for right now, I think I'm gonna leave these loose. I just want to get these two here on there to see fit. So overall, I'd say there's probably an 1/8 inch, which, I mean, again, I'm happy with that. I think I could be happy with that. So, you know, initially in the beginning, after I get, you know, primer, paint, all that stuff on the H-beam and the components, you know, you got to think about, you know, I'm not only painting the H-beam, but I'm also painting the pusher plate. So I don't think I'm gonna go crazy with painting the underside. I don't know, maybe I will. I know it's just gonna get worn off, so we'll have to see. Cool. Cool. All right, so if any of you guys and gals who have been following are wondering what in the heck that is what I will call a comment generator. So I'm still gonna leave this a mystery and how all this relationship here is supposed to work. I'm gonna leave it a mystery for now. I made a YouTube short on a block that I was working on, and I'm waiting to get back some comments and you know, suggestions, ideas as to what I was making. And this video is going to be posted Wednesday of this coming week. So I'm hoping that somebody before the video, the long form video here comes out, will start, you know, questioning that and commenting and coming up with ideas as to what I might be up to here. So I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, all right. So I went through a whole spiel. Then I realized the camera, for whatever reason, stopped recording again. So, as you can see, I've got marks on here. And I'm gonna go over it again because I want you guys to see what what speed the squirrel is running here and my little hamster wheel in my head. So I take my 90-degree magnet here, prop this thing up. So what you guys are looking at here is the bracket that really kind of pushed this part of the project along. Last video at the end, I was making these brackets, and while I was editing the video, I realized that I was kind of doing the cart before the horse thing, or in this case, the horse before the cart. So anyway, bad joke. So anyway, these lines here, okay, are showing me what my tolerances are on the sled itself, you know, with the clearance that I'm going to need for the nuts on the ends of the bolts and the clearances I'm going to need for the sled to go back and forth here. Okay. I'm feeling optimistic that I'm going to be able to save these brackets. I think it's going to make things a little bit different as to how I wanted to design it. I could go through all the time that I went through all over again to make a different version of these brackets that has this more in mind from the get-go. But I'm gonna take my time with this project. I'm going to see what it is that I can do with these brackets as they are, meaning modifying these brackets to accommodate the sled. So I used my 90-degree square, and I just kind of like put it on the bottom of the nut here, and because that's where that's what I have to clear, and I also have to clear the sled here. So I put it there up against the plate, or I should say the bracket. I used my yellow paint marker to get a couple marks. You know, this here being one of them, you know, vertical. So that's what I'm working with here now. So hope you can see these lines. I actually did a couple different marks here, kind of one's intersecting another, and I'm kind of changing the angle. So what I've decided was, if I do go the route where I'm going to cut the material from here, okay, to accommodate those the bolts and things like that on that pusher plate, then I'm going to be cutting on the south side, on the downward side, where that hash mark is, or I should say X. I'm going to be on the downward side cutting, because that the cutoff wheel is roughly, it's a light 1/8 of an inch, the kerf of it. So is a light 1/8 of an inch. So I figure if I completely remove the marker on the downside of the marker line, that should give me closer to a full 1/4 of an inch of additional clearance. Clearances with this are a little bit more complicated than just making room for the, you know, obstructing parts, which would be the nuts, the plate itself, and this also is, you know, an obstruction to that. So the complication comes in with wear, okay, over time with this sled going back and forth. This plate is going to wear, it's going to get thinner, okay, and it's going to begin to descend, okay, it's going to come down in height, and because of that, well, these are going to come down in height, and that tolerance is going to go away. So where my concern is with me making this change, it's going to do two things, right? So it's going to make the neck of this thing, see how fat it is here, right? It's going to make the neck of it that wide. And I'm not thinking that's going to work out so hot. So, and on top of that, it also takes away a lot of meat, because this is actually going to be what's going here, okay? So it's going to take away a lot of meat for me to otherwise, have, material there for me to weld to. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to go this route. Okay. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the material off the bottom. Okay. And that is going to drop it down what I need, okay, to get those clearances. Now, by doing that, the unfortunate side is I don't, hard to explain. So right now, the hinge point, okay, is going to be here, right? So there's going to be a long, solid bar that goes through here. Maybe not. Almost. Hope I didn't knock you completely out of whack there. So either I'm going to use a solid bar or I'm going to use 3-point hitch class 2 pins to put in here for the pivot point. Undecided there, but either way, that's how it's going to work out. I'm going to have it pivoting around this area. Now, by me cutting the bottom of this, it's going to lower that overall height down. Now, it's really not that big a deal. I'm kind of, see right now, if the log comes down, trying to think, okay, imagine this being the log, okay, and the log lift is coming out here, right? And the log is rolling in, okay? So the whole point is I'm gonna have this as a stop for the log. So it doesn't just, without invitation, enter into the splitting chamber. That's really where I would like it for it to have been. Now, if I cut, an inch off the bottom of this mounting bracket, this level is going to be an inch further down, which, I don't know. Either way, this log is not going to enter the splitting chamber without invitation. Instead of me rolling it up and over, okay, and down into the splitting chamber, okay, I'm still going to be pulling it up. I'm just going to be pulling it up from down here rather than from somewhere like up here, right? It's not going to be up here. It's going to be more like down here, which I'm still accomplishing what I want to do. I'm preventing the log from going into the splitting chamber, again, without invitation. So I think I'm going to go with it. I'm going to see how it goes. You can always make the parts of a log lift shorter. Not that you can't make them longer after you cut it down. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about welding is you can put back material that you once took off already. It's a little bit different with wood. So I don't know. That's where we are right now. I think that's the direction I'm going to go. And I think that's going to be it. So there was a whole lot of cart before the horse type of thing going on here. It led me to this conclusion, which is good. None of my time here has been wasted. Okay, there are efficiencies, or I should say lack of efficiencies. Okay, I know this. I'm working in my garage with minimal tools for this type of fabrication, so to speak. So, I'm just kind of doing this on my available free time, and I'm learning a lot. Definitely learning a lot, and I'm really enjoying this. So here we are, back hanging out near the H-beam again. Now that I got this ram extended out and I've got my pusher plate all the way tapped out to the very end, which I'm doing intentionally. This wedge here, hopefully I'm getting that in the camera. This little tiny wedge is actually going, whoops, almost had a casualty there. Is going actually right in front of this wedge on the H-beam. And what I need to do is to make this push plate bottom out to here, I need to cut out a section of this push plate to accommodate this wedge. I know you guys are probably scratching your heads saying, you know, what is the point of all this? I'm not sure I want to get too deep into the grass on the details as to why yet, not quite yet. So when you're looking at where this ram extends out to, there's a lot of plates, pusher plates, where this marries up to a bracket. Not much further, but I'd say probably 1.5 to 2 inches further up the push plate, closer to the wedge, or I should say to the back of the pusher plate itself. About 1 inch to 2 inches further forward. Now, I'm not really concerned about that because I actually have to make an adapter here. I'm going to get some round stock tubing, probably 1/4 inch, and I'm going to make a sleeve that's going to go through. It's going to drop onto here, and on that sleeve is actually where I'm going to mount, weld, so to speak, fab up basically an adapter. So back here, the bracket also has to accommodate that little 3-inch wedge. So basically it's going to come up like a 90. It's going to come all the way up, and I'm using 1 inch, some of my 1 inch stock that I have left down there to do that. I think it's going to work out just fine, and we'll show you a little bit further down the road as I start getting this whole pusher plate assembly fabbed up, and I get to work on tolerances and things like that, and bring you guys along for it. Hopefully you guys are finding this interesting, and hopefully you're finding it confusing, puzzling, as to why I might be going through all this extra mumbo jumbo. And the truth of the matter is it's just because I have an idea. I'm gonna play through with it. I'm gonna see if it's actually worth the effort, right? This is kind of how good ideas and ideas that you thought were really good ideas and maybe, you know, was a whole lot of R&D for nothing. This is how it goes, you know. There wasn't always CAD software and computer programs to kind of take this step out. There was a lot of, you know, this type of stuff going on in guys' garages and farms, you know, trying to, you know, build something because they couldn't get it for one reason or another or whatnot. So, or just ideas maybe to take something that they had that was old, ratty, beat up thing laying around and a bit long in the tooth, and they decided that they were, instead of just going to resurrect it from the dead, they were just going to turn it into what they want. And that's kind of where a lot of these neat ideas come from. So yeah, so now that I got this extended out, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to figure out how I'm going to get this all to come together. Hopefully you guys are finding this interesting. All right, so parts are getting cut out, which is all good. I'm hoping maybe tomorrow after work, Teresa will be doing her Wednesday trip for the ski trip. The elementary school we have here in town, they take the kids out for like 6 Wednesdays throughout the winter. So that's what she'll be doing tomorrow, and hopefully I will be here welding some of this up. I do have 2 more cuts to make though. I have to make the cut on the faceplate, or the pusher plate in this case. That's the primary wedge. And I also have to make the cut on the sled. So I hope you can see that. I'm probably standing in the only available light. So I have to get a cup to fit here, so that way I can make a cut in this backbone deal, whatever you want to call it, this brace here. I need to make a cut there, weld the cup into it, and that cup will go around this, and that's how it will attach to the ram. But that's that open space where this wedge is actually going to come through the faceplate, or I should say the pusher plate. It's going to come through it and protrude into this space here, which I notched out, of here. So it's coming together. Pieces are all getting cut. That's really all I'm doing after work. I'm putting an hour or 2 in here or there. Getting things just a step ahead. Baby steps, but a step nonetheless. All right, well, that's gonna conclude this video. I hope you guys are enjoying this this MTR series that I'm trying to create here of me building this this homemade splitter. I'm little by little going to be kind of trickling out why it is that I'm designing this pusher plate the way I am. I still have yet to make the 4-way wings on there. I've got some more of this 1/2-inch plate left to make those. So the actual backbone, the main wedge, is a 1-inch plate. I actually wanted to use 5/8. That's really where I wanted to go with the size of the pusher plate, and also the additional horizontal wings on the vertical, or I should say on the vertical wedge to be specific. Just for less drag, right? I want there to be less resistance for this splitting ram to push whatever it is that it's trying to push through there. So, however, available was 3/4. So that's what I'm working with here. I'm hoping, you know, once I sharpen the 3/4 down, it will be enough of a break in the resistance. The way I'm going to design this this 4-way is going to be probably against the grain of what you would normally see in a 4-way splitting wedge design. When I start marrying up these two horizontal fins, you know, the splitting wedges, the horizontal ones to the vertical, a lot of you are probably going to question why I chose to go that route, and that is at that point I will then begin to leak out a little bit more of why I'm doing it. At that point it will be evident to you, I'm sure, why I'm doing it, because there's really no way of kind of beating around the bush once I get to that part of the explanation. However, you're still going to wonder, I'm sure, if it's even going to work. And you wouldn't be alone on that, because again, a lot of this here down yonder of this project is experimental. I might find that this pump on the splitter and this ram doesn't have the gusto to do what I'm thinking it might do. So I'm going to stop yammering here. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me here in the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. Again, I hope you're enjoying the MTR series. And if you could, comment down below. Let me know how you're enjoying the series, what you think about all this craziness I got going on down here. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Make a comment, let me know how you feel about it. And if you could, hit that like button. Doesn't, you know, it helps the algorithm tremendously, but and the subscription doesn't cost anything. So if you could, hit that subscribe button, maybe share it with some friends if you're interested in this. And I'll see you guys on the next video.